All right, let's take you to this now. The ANC's party, or should I say the party's highest decision-making body, that's the National Executive Committee, has issued new rules for the election process that is to come in December. Now, these include, among others, the race, age, gender composition of its leadership. Let's discuss this now. And I'm joined by political analyst Ongama Mtika, who talks to us all the way from the Eastern Cape. Mr. Mtika, thank you very much for your time. I want to hone in straight on the article that was that we saw at the weekend on the front page of the Sunday Times, and that is that Dlamini Zuma confirms she will challenge Ramaphosa. Your thoughts on this? It is Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma's second time trying to challenge President Ramaphosa, if indeed these reports are to be believed.
So, good morning to you, Chloe, and your viewers. I think that the timing of the announcement of the campaign comes very late when one takes into consideration the history of running for office in the ANC, that the earlier one confirms availability, the better. And people who have been known names to be actively running campaigns so far have been, for example, Lindiwe Sisulu, as well as others, that have been known to be actively campaigning. So by ANC standards, the announcement at this time of the, so close to the conference should ordinarily mean that the chances of success are minimal for for Minister Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma.
So, as you say, I mean, for the longest time, I think we have struggled, at least in the media fraternity, to sort of have a firm candidate that we could say is a person that is being endorsed by branches of the ANC to contest the position of president. And as you put it, now that the confirmation of Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma trying to contest Ramaphosa for a second time, albeit at this late stage, what does that do for the hopes of someone whose name was bandied about for some time, and that is the former health minister, Dr. Zweli Mkhize? What does that do for his chances now?
Well, you see, the reason why people have framed that question in that way has been to say the party is divided in two. You've got a group that is largely pro-reform, led by President Cyril Ramaphosa, and then you've got a group that is anti the kind of reforms that bring about, good governance, but more around using the platform of radical economic transformation as its platform. For the longest time, people who've been engaging in debate about the succession politics of the ANC have been saying, we have not seen any consensus in the other camp as to who among them is going to lead. Now, whether or not Mkhize and others' campaigns are affected by the candidature of Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma is a question of whether there's a coherent faction that is against President Cyril Ramaphosa, or in fact fragmented factions. And my sense is that for the longest time this year, that faction, if I can put it that way, hasn't had, the RET faction proper, hasn't had a leading candidate, creating a room for a multiplicity of factions that are contesting President Cyril Ramaphosa. Whether or not the other leaders, such as Zweli Mkhize as well as Lindiwe Sisulu, still stand a chance to succeed, is a function of the coherence or lack thereof of those that are seeking to challenge President Cyril Ramaphosa. My sense so far is that she's coming in as a third name as opposed to the ultimate name to challenge President Cyril Ramaphosa. And by virtue of that, there's no consolidated camp that is challenging him, but a fragmented internal opposition base that's challenging him, which strengthens his chances of success. But the other thing that we must, bear in mind here, Xoli, is what you opened with, what the rules imply in terms of the character of the campaigns. One of the things that I'm commending the ANC for the first time on is this idea of allowing for free campaigning among the rank and file membership of the party for office. And this is a departure from the archaic model used even this year in regional and provincial conferences, where people are not allowed to campaign freely and have access to the membership, but are using regional power brokers and provincial power brokers in order for them to be voted into power. I think that the opening up of the campaign does give a little bit of an impression of democracy, to the extent that it may not be uncommon, it may be expected in this conference that people who have not necessarily enjoyed the support of the branches so far can in fact be able to sell themselves enough to actually put up a formidable campaign come the conference. And also, mind you, that the Electoral Committee still has to apply its mind to the candidates that have come up and determine the suitability of those candidates from the perspective of ethics and morality. Something which is new that has been introduced, which has not been done before. So that may serve to eliminate some of the candidates. My view is that even the president is affected by the sensitivity to morals and ethics in that process of determining the final candidates to run for office.
Well, you've partially answered my last question to you, and that is these stringent rules that have come, Ongama Mtika, the names that are now coming of potential pretenders to the throne, are these names coming of late, people banking on the possibility that the president might be disqualified?
I wouldn't be surprised if part of the calculations from Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma are based on the fact that from a personal integrity point of view, never mind the associations that have been created in the last campaign about who she is and who backs her and what the implications of that are as far as, efforts to deal with state capture. Right. My sense is that personally, she may in fact be seeing an opportunity that as a result of the rules may make her to be a more compelling candidate than any of the other candidates that have been brought there. But my view, Xoli, is that
that picture, completely frozen. We were just about to hear that last bit. All right, Ongama Mtika, that's where we are going to leave it, at least. We've gotten the gist of his sense thus far. All right.